So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 15 of our season 3 on F1 Manager 23. Now if you didn't watch the last episode, it was quite chaotic in Zandvoort, it must be said. We did very well. George Russell won the Grand Prix. If we didn't get unlucky with some of the events that happened, I would suggest that we could have won that Grand Prix with Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly scoring well in P4 as well. It means that the standings are looking rather decent at the moment. Constructors-wise, we are the second best constructor, 10 points ahead of Ferrari, but we are quite a bit behind Red Bull. Red Bull are definitely far and away in front, and of course, we just want to be best of the rest this season. Drivers standings-wise, Max Verstappen is in the lead. Lando Norris still holding on to P3. The best, once again, driver that is not a Red Bull. Pierre Gasly in P10. He's going to be looking to overtake a few of these guys, it must be said. To bring you up to date on a few other things, in terms of the car parts, we've got a few of the worn parts on for practice and qualifying, etc. But we are looking okay on the engine stuff. We may get through, but as I have said, we are going to have to be very, very careful of the cost cap finances. Only projected to have 3.2 remaining at the moment, so we're very, very tight on cash. But this weekend we go to Monza, the Temple of Speed. Ferrari will hope to be the second best constructor by the end of this race. We are looking at rain on Sunday. It is an alternative qualifying weekend. Expect a strategy. It is a one-stop, but obviously with the rain that's going to change everything. Car attributes, top speed and high speed cornering. Once again, we're quite good at high speed cornering, so hopefully we can look forward to a decent weekend. I'm going to get through practice and I shall see you in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. Now, absolute disaster in Q1. Pierre Gasly had 2 laps at it and managed to only be P17. It was a terrible, terrible qualifying session for Pierre Gasly. Lando Norris' teammate in P5, and you can see how many people have got grid penalties this weekend. That is such a missed opportunity, but now just the one car in Q2. Lando Norris is only going to get one shot at this in Q3, and he's had the pace all weekend, it must be said, but at the moment he's just coming round the Parabolica. Can he manage to put it on pole position today? He's purple through the middle sector at the moment. Lando Norris up to the line. What's he going to do here? It's a 119.8, 7 tenths in front of Giovinazzi. The reason he's only going to get one chance at this is because, as you can see, the track is going to start getting damp, as it's starting to now, and we are just watching these times come in. There's a lot of cars at the moment out there. George Russell just about manages to pip Lando Norris to pole position, but we'll fast forward on. But that is a good effort from Lando Norris, and just showing how poor that was from Pierre Gasly today. And I think we've got to be very, very happy with that, especially as George Russell has a grid penalty, as does Teo Pourchaire. So it's going to be Lando Norris and Checo Perez on the front row, then probably Albon and Ocon maybe on row 2. This gives us a good chance to bolt away at the start and hopefully never be seen again. But let's have a look at the strategy, because we've got rain on Sunday. Right then, guys, same strategy but very different positions. Lando Norris obviously starting on pole position. We reckon it's going to rain around lap 23, 24. That's when the rain's going to start coming down. We're going to start on the softs. We're going to try and bolt away and dictate the pace from there. Pierre Gasly, similar story, but he's got to work his way through the pack starting in P13. We have taken out 3 laps of fuel, so we should be very, very light at the start to try and get away. Obviously, we'll claw that back when it gets to significant rain. But P1, P13, we want to win in Monza.
All 10 teams are now getting set up as the drivers prepare to face the 53 laps of the Italian Grand Prix. Now I wonder, will things be going Lando Norris's way in this race?
They start in P1, but will they be able to stay there? The first corner could be so crucial.
And it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. Here we go. It's the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we are looking at Lando Norris from pole position, because he's got away very, very well in towards turn 1. Alexander Albon's on the medium compounder tyre. If he gets in front of that Ferrari, that would be absolutely ideal for us, and he has done. Lando Norris now can look to bolt away. We know we're quicker than an Aston Martin, and I would suggest we're much quicker than a Ferrari as well. But Checo Perez is battling back on Alexander Albon. He's got back in front of the Aston Martin because he knows he's got to keep with that lightning quick Andretti Cadillac off the start. Meanwhile, we look at Pierre Gasly here, riding on board with him. He's got 2 cars side by side in Tsunoda and Sainz in front of him. The Hugo Boss of Yuki Tsunoda on the medium compounder tyre. Pierre Gasly cannot afford, it must be said by the way, while we're just going on about that, neither car can afford any mishaps and crashes now. We are so tight on the cost cap. We need to ensure that our cars are coming back in one piece race after race. But at this moment, we've heard a bit of a crash there. My word, what's happened? George Russell's managed to get through. There's been a lock-up. Verstappen looks like he's gained from it. It's Esteban Ocon. Let's have a look at this. We heard it while I was chatting away. Let's have a look at this. Esteban Ocon running in P3, remember. Locks up, goes flying off into the gravel trap. Doesn't manage to smash the car up. But that is so disappointing from the Mercedes driver, as Lando Norris is still pushing on at a rate of knots. But Checo Perez is ensuring that he sticks with him as we come towards the end of lap 1. Lando Norris is still in P1, Gasly in P11 now, up to P11. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That's going to be darting him out for a little while. Pierre Gasly losing a place. He was up to P11 and now he's back down to he's back down to P12. I think he's now Pierre Gasly battling with Carlos Sainz. It's been a very interesting start for Lando Norris because Lando Norris is actually back up to P10. Pierre Gasly, ignore me. Lando Norris has been under pressure from Checo Perez, and it must be said Perez now is right on the back of him. So we are going to be exchanging DRS with Checo Perez, trying to pull away from Alexander Albon. Very interesting indeed that we could not manage to drop that Ferrari, but we have dropped the Aston Martin of Albon, and between us we are pulling out a gap as we see Perez overtaking Lando Norris there. We saw it live, so we'll not watch the replay, but Pierre Gasly is certainly looking to move forward at this moment in time, and he's now right on the back of Mick Schumacher in the Audi Sport Car. In terms of the track details, we're expecting it to go to Inters. I think we'll be safe on the intermediate tyre all the way to the end. This could just be a one-stop race, but Gasly now chasing down Mick Schumacher. And we have got a crash on circuit. It's Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. What's going to happen here? Verstappen and the Hugo Boss just turns in, not leaving each other enough space, and that looks like there is some serious damage on that Red Bull car. I would expect him to be coming in. The championship leader, remember, taking grid penalties today, fighting at the back of the pack. Max Verstappen not managing to get past him there. Meanwhile, Norris and Perez still just exchanging DRS at this moment in time and pulling the gap to Albon. Lap 4. And on lap 5, Pierre Gasly has got Mick Schumacher. Lovely work from Pierre Gasly. Up now in to P9. He's making his way forward nicely in this race. At this moment in time, he's now got in front of him an Alfa Romeo Haas. In fact, he's got 2 Alfa Romeo Haas's in front of him now. Pierre Gasly behind De Vries and Porsche. Gap to Albon now at the front. 3.6 seconds from Perez and Norris. Pierre Gasly has got Teo Porsche. He's got the first of the Alfa Romeo Haas's, and it's lovely work from Pierre Gasly. Through he went into the left-hander, and now he's chasing down the next one, but we have got a VSC on circuit. Let's have a little look, because I don't know quite what's happened here. George Russell's now overtaken Alexander Albon, which is not good news for us. DRS has been disabled, but at this moment in time, it's Charles Leclerc. Oh no, not at the Monza Grand Prix, not at your home, at Ferrari's home Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc all the way down in P18, smashing into the barriers. And as we can hear, not too happy on the radio. So that will neutralise the race as it stands. But Russell, 6.8 seconds to him. Gasly in P8. Easy striking distance, possibly of a podium today. And we are back to green flag running, and it must be said George Russell has not had the best restart there. 5.8 seconds now is the gap to George Russell. Perez, it must be said at the front, Norris has got the best tyres out of all of these guys, and by the time it starts getting to the wet weather period, that will allow us a little bit more flexibility. So at this moment in time, Lando Norris is sitting in a lovely position, tagging onto the back of that Ferrari, lap 9. And I've got to say, Pierre Gasly, sometimes he disappoints me in qualifying, but you know when he does, I enjoy watching him in the race, and I'm sure you do at home, because he makes overtakes left, right and centre. Pierre Gasly now up into P8. He can see George Russell just down the road. Gasly is on an absolute charge here. He's got Piastri in front of him now, who hasn't got DRS. I would expect Pierre Gasly to be battling for P4 today, at least with the sort of pace he is showing. We saved a little bit of fuel as well under that VSC, as we're going to watch Lando Norris and Perez going towards turn 1. But at the moment, lap 10, we'll have a full rundown. It's Perez from Norris, Russell's in P3, then comes Giovinazzi, Albon in P5, Piastri P6, Gasly in P7, then comes De Vries, Sainz and Porsche making up the top 10. I'm hoping just to see once our race engineer shifts out of the way. Ocon is the last remaining of the runners. Charles Leclerc is out. Verstappen in P13. And it's going to be a Pierre Gasly overtaking masterclass today because once again he's got the job done, and he's got it done at just the right time as well, because I believe as he came round there, did that guarantee that he got DRS as well? Let's have a little look at this rear wing opening. I'm not sure if he did. Let's have a quick look. Pierre Gasly, it doesn't matter now because he's well past Piastri and chasing down Giovinazzi. Norris and Perez. Russell's reeling us in a little bit here, but not by too much. Lap 14, we're going to see a Lando Norris overtake on Checo Perez. DRS wide open. Lovely move from Lando Norris. It's been good, respectful driving from both of these drivers at this moment in time. One thing that has been noted, though, as these two are just exchanging places, is the gap to George Russell. It's just started to extend a little bit towards 4.8 seconds. We are pulling away from George Russell now. Pierre Gasly, on the other hand, is now up into P5 at this moment. Look at this. Pierre Gasly into turn 1. As nice as you like. That is beautiful work again from Pierre Gasly. Just let me know down in the comments if you've got a favourite of our two drivers. Please let me know, because I mean, as much as we see Lando Norris getting race wins, Pierre Gasly doesn't half provide some entertainment on these episodes. But Lando Norris, the gap to Russell now 4.8 seconds, nearly 5 seconds. Norris looking good with no rain on the horizon just yet. We're expecting it around lap 19, lap 20, so 5 laps. It's going to get very, very interesting. And Pierre Gasly, once again, making an overtake. Pierre Gasly's now up into P4. And I tell you something, we've got the battery to attack this Red Bull in front. And I fancy attacking it because I'd like two dogs in the fight today. And we certainly have done. Now, we've got Gasly's only 2.9 seconds behind George Russell. It's hammer time for Pierre Gasly. We're going to tell him to try and catch George Russell. Meanwhile, we're just going to see another overtake at the front. Lando Norris, similar overtake once again. DRS wide open. These two respectfully driving, and I'm loving seeing it, it must be said. But now Pierre's been told, go get Russell. Lap 17, we've just had the nod that rain is coming, but Pierre Gasly is now on the back of George Russell. He's closed a 2.9 second gap on a Red Bull. My word, Pierre Gasly, you are driving one hell of a race today. We can see the clouds are starting to get darker, the rain, the umbrellas are going up in the grandstands. Lap 17, do we go to inters? I would suggest that is intermediates. It's going to be very, very damp, so I reckon we're going to stick with the intermediate tyres and we shall go from there. But on lap 18, Perez leads from Norris, Russell in P3, but there's an Andretti Cadillac driving up to the back of the Red Bull. You join us back on lap 19 because these two are exchanging places, and I wanted to bring you back to the live action because Pierre Gasly is all over the back of this Red Bull now, moving left and right. Pierre Gasly knows that he can not only help his teammate here, he can help himself, and Pierre Gasly just didn't quite go for the move there, unfortunately. But at this moment in time, that's not a problem because it's just helping him along massively. We are expecting the rain very, very shortly. Lando Norris has just managed to get past with DRS again. We don't need to show you that. We are going to show you the next rundown here over the start finish straight, because I reckon Pierre Gasly, as we switch to the helmet cam, can attack George Russell in that Red Bull. Let's see if he can. He's going to get DRS. Will George Russell defend it, or will he just simply let him go? Let's have a look. Pierre Gasly, DRS wide open, moving left and right. Doesn't look like he's quite going to get it done, but we have got rain on track. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about to get very, very busy in the pit lane, and into the pits is going to be coming Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly, both for the intermediate compounder tyre. We're just going to see what the Ferrari garage have got out as well. Everyone is pitting. Ferrari are going for inters, as are we. Come on, boys, we need 2 good stops here. Lando Norris, is it a good stop? It's 3 seconds, and we are held behind Perez, but then in comes Pierre Gasly. Is it a good stop for Pierre Gasly? He's held, he's held, he's held. This is a long hold for Pierre Gasly, but he is out. Where is George Russell? George Russell with the better pit box. Got away well there, but now Gasly behind Russell. Norris comes out in P2, but we are in for the intermediates. Lap 24, we bring you back, and it must be said, George Russell has certainly got the pace in these conditions over Pierre Gasly. He's pulled out a 2.5 second gap on him, and he's actually starting to close on Lando Norris. Obviously, the British normally are the best at driving in the wet weather. but it's going to be intermediates now all the way to the end. We don't expect it to be any more pit stops. This could come down to who manages their tyres the best. We'll have a full rundown. It's Perez from Norris, Russell, then Gasly, Bottas again in P5, doing so well. Giovinazzi P6, Verstappen somehow out of nowhere is in P7, Sainz P8, Piastri P9, Schumacher in P10, Leclerc just the one DNF today. Both Aston Martins running outside the points.
Look at that.
Pierre Gasly is not enjoying the rain, and Valtteri Bottas very much is. He's managed to just get past Pierre Gasly into turn 1. They were lucky not to come together there, to be fair. But Bottas now up into P4 from P5. Gasly just dropping down. We are just starting to charge up the battery a little bit with Pierre Gasly. We've managed to sort out the gap to Russell. It must be said, Russell was really burning his tyres up trying to chase after us. We are going to take our time because I think tyre wear is going to be absolutely crucial towards the end of this Grand Prix, lap 28. Pierre Gasly is not having a lovely time now in this wet weather. He's just ran a little bit wide here, gone over one of the curves, one of the sausage curves. It doesn't seem to have caused any damage to us, but he's got Max Verstappen in his mirrors. That's probably not helping him along anymore. But Lando Norris has actually just started to avoid the high-risk curves because we're that comfortable at the moment with Lando Norris. It's been quite nice, and it must be said, I think our tyres are going to be in such better condition at the end. We're going to win this Grand Prix at Canter, lap 33. We've had a crash on circuit, and it is Mick Schumacher in the Audi. Let's have a little look at this one. Just spinning off, doing what Charles Leclerc did. It's not caused the safety car, fortunately.
Very sorry.
I mean, he's very sorry. He's Mick Schumacher, but he managed to disappear through a fence at Spa, not managing to do it here. But at the moment, Lando Norris, we are just managing these tyres beautifully at the moment. 3% better tyre wear than Checo Perez. Gasly has got Verstappen on his bike. We are aware of that. We are going to try and push Gasly on a little bit more now. But at the moment in time, we're still quite comfortable. Lap 35. And Verstappen has got Pierre Gasly. He's now up into P5. Gasly couldn't defend it. And it's job done for Max Verstappen through the parabolica. By the time they got to turn 1, Max Verstappen was in front of him. Verstappen's on the charge, which is amazing, really, after that incident that he had earlier on in the Grand Prix. Managing to get the job done there. But at this moment in time, once again, Gasly now dropping to P6. It might come to him a little bit more towards the end, whereas Lando Norris has been told to try and get Checo Perez now because we believe we are quicker. And one thing that has just really helped us is Max Verstappen doing this under immense pressure from Pierre Gasly. Max Verstappen decided to lock up. We're going to see a lock up somewhere onto the sausage curb, and that allowed Pierre Gasly pass. Pierre Gasly back up into P5. We have got 10 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the most frustrating thing in the world because we cannot get past Checo Perez. We are looking left and right. I know what you're going to say, we're conserving on the tyres, yes, to try and ensure that we've got some tyres left towards the end. But my word, we have been trying everything. We've been full attack with ERS. We've been doing everything we possibly can. And it's going to come to us. We've got 8 more laps to do it. Pierre Gasly is still attacking Valtteri Bottas. He's got Verstappen behind him. They've actually pulled in George Russell as well. So Gasly's fighting for a podium. Norris is fighting for the win. It's all happening here in Monza. Lando Norris might have just made the move to get the Grand Prix because he's finally, you can probably hear the relief in my voice, got alongside Checo Perez. As we're going to cut back to the live action, I'm unsure if we've actually got this move done. It looks like we might have. He's now pushing on the ERS, and Lando Norris is into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. That should be that done. But Gasly's still in a fight here for a podium. Could he possibly do it? We're just going to tell Lando Norris to calm down now because I can't see Perez getting back past him. We've had the pace all afternoon. Lando Norris doing so well there. It's now on Pierre Gasly to try and get a double podium for Andretti. Pierre Gasly could be getting a podium today because he's just got past Valtteri Bottas, and this is an incredibly important move on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix because he's now sat in behind George Russell. But as we can see, he's just pulled out to the left-hand side. He's going down the inside. We're going to cut to the live action, and Pierre Gasly at this moment in time is up into P3, but just by a nose. But through the parabolica, it's going to be Gasly and Russell side by side as we enter the final lap of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris is in the lead of the Grand Prix, but Pierre Gasly is now on the podium. My word, did you see this coming? This is it. Pierre Gasly, we've seen Lando Norris. He's going to win it at a canter. It's job done. It's now all on Pierre Gasly, who's been told you can burn your tyres until the cows come home now, because this is going to be one epic final lap for Pierre Gasly. We know how important this is. His tyres aren't exactly in the best nick, but if he can hold off a Red Bull, my word, this would be something. Pierre Gasly at this moment is still using that ERS, just managing to defend from George Russell. We're just going to turn on the battle assist now. We are pushing on absolutely everything. Lando Norris is 2.2 seconds clear. He's going to win again. But Pierre Gasly's in P3. He's actually closing down on Checo Perez at this moment in time. I mean, we couldn't get a 1-2, surely, unless Perez's tyres are absolutely dead. But Pierre Gasly, my word, is just coming round the sector 3. He's pulled out nearly a second on George Russell. Lando Norris cruising towards the final corner. Pierre Gasly's got the job done, and we're now going to follow Lando Norris, because as Lando Norris comes round the final corner, once again, what a performance from Andretti Cadillac, and Lando Norris wins the Italian Grand Prix. What a moment for him, but what a moment from Pierre Gasly. P13, unlucky for some, not unlucky for Pierre. He's up onto P3. Pierre Gasly gets a podium. What a race. My voice has nearly gone. I've been badly all week, and Lando Norris has got it. What a result that is for Andretti Cadillac. We are writing headline after headline on these episodes at the moment, and just how impressive was that from Lando Norris. My word, let's get to the podium where we'll see 2 Andretti Cadillac cars.
What a remarkable drive by Lando Norris today.
That was a really well executed race, I thought. Major credit to the driver, the pit wall, and the whole team for that win.
We may see these kind of scenes a lot in Formula One, but it's easy to forget just what it means to the whole team. And after such a fabulous drive here today, it's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
It gets even better for the team, with both drivers scoring a podium finish this weekend.
What a moment that is, seeing both drivers on the podium. We were unlucky in Zandvoort, I felt, but we've not been unlucky in Monza. Magical Monza for Andretti Cadillac. My word, what a result that is. Lando Norris winning the Grand Prix from Checo Perez, who, it must be said, put up a valiant effort to try and deny us it. But Pierre Gasly making 2 overtakes on the last 2 laps to get a podium from P13 on the grid. Absolutely crazy. Drivers standings wise, Max Verstappen, in fact, no, let's go through the rest. Sorry, George Russell P4, Valtteri Bottas, what a result for him as well. P5 on the day, fantastic in the Audi. Max Verstappen had an incident, still gained 12 positions up to P6. Sainz, Giovinazzi, Albon and Stroll make up the top 10. Bad day really for Aston Martin, it must be said, but a bad day for Ferrari. They lost to Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc was the only DNF at Ferrari's home Grand Prix. Driver standings wise, Max Verstappen is still in the lead, but Lando Norris is closing on George Russell. 221 points now for Lando Norris. Fantastic from him. 4 race wins this season. Pierre Gasly is up to P9 and well on the back of, you'd even say, Carlos Sainz at this moment in time. 81 points now for the Gasman. Constructor standings wise, Red Bull are top of the league still, 591 points. But Andretti Cadillac, we pull out a 31-point lead on Ferrari. Ladies and gentlemen, please do like and subscribe. What a Grand Prix, and I shall see you on the next one. Ta-ra!